Hello, I'm Jonathan from Mental Help, and today I wanted to talk to you about some common misconceptions when it comes to understanding mental health, especially the ones that are not so easy to see, like OCD, anxiety, and various other disorders like that. It seems in life people are very quick to make judgmental jokes and offhand remarks regarding what I would sort of say is the silent mental health disorders. You often hear people say, she is so OCD, or he, because they like to keep their room really tidy. Everything's got to be in the right place. Quite often people will say, he's so OCD, or he's a schizo, or psycho. These sort of terms are bandied around. But you don't hear people say things about other illnesses in the same joking sense. They've almost become nicknames for things people do or say. You wouldn't tease somebody who's got muscular dystrophy. You just wouldn't do that. And the reason you don't do that is because you're not a terrible person. But when it comes to the silent invisible disorders that we suffer from, people are very quick to jump on the bandwagon of making jokes. And just to remind ourselves, the definition of a psychological disorder is a deviant, distressful and dysfunctional pattern of thoughts, feelings or behaviours that interferes with the ability to function in a healthy way. So the next time you make a joke about someone saying they're so phobic because they didn't want to come on an adventure ride with you, you're confusing them with the person who's so anxious that they cannot even leave their house. When you call someone OCD, there's a difference between the person who likes to keep their house incredibly tidy to the person who has to wash their hands until they are bleeding. OCD used to be an anxiety disorder. It's only recently it's been termed in its own right as OCD. So if we look at OCD as an anxiety disorder, which is what in effect it is, we associate anxiety with fear, but it's not just fear, it's actually what you do to overcome or to avoid that fear coming. So to put that into an analogy, I suppose, say you were young and you fell into a swimming pool when you couldn't swim. So you've got a fear of water, a fear of swimming pools, and that's an anxiety. But when I talk about it's what we do in response to the anxiety, I mean, like, say for example, that child grows up a little bit and they go on a holiday next to a river with their family. The anxiety is so great that they cannot even get out of the car. So they are stuck in the car. Yes, they've reduced the fear and the anxiety level of drowning, but they're incredibly unhappy. That's the way it seems to be. It's not just the fear, it's also what the fear makes you then do. So I think in essence, anxiety is normal. We get anxiety. People get anxiety. It's sometimes good to be anxious. It sometimes can save your life if you're walking near a cliff edge, for example. But anxiety disorders are not just characterised by the persistent anxiety you feel, but also by the dysfunctional behaviours that you do to reduce the anxiety. So there's two parts to it, isn't there? And that's obviously why it's called a disorder. You've got anxiety, it's normal to an extent, and anxiety disorders. It's actually stated that a fifth of us at some point in our life will be diagnosed with an anxiety of some form or another. And it goes. OCD is, as we know, unwanted thoughts that come into our head. That they turn into compulsions that you do to reduce the anxiety. And these are then accompanied by actions we do, which are, obviously, as we know, called the compulsions, and they are to reduce the anxiety level. Being orderly, neat, fastidious, all of those terms doesn't necessarily make you OCD. So that's all I wanted to say on that. Thank you very much. Please feel free to subscribe. It does help the channel grow and get sent out to more people, and click like if you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye and God bless.